Okay, Hunter Hunter. Where did we leave off last time? Benjamin going on a big old rampage, signing Camilla's death sentence, I think. I did see it. So I don't watch a massive amount of Hunter Hunter content, nor do I read the comments on Reddit usually. I watch Joe Carter's reactions mostly because he did Undead Unluck reactions. I still follow him for that purpose, and I enjoy his Hunter Hunter reactions too. And I watch the Overthinkers reviews. And I don't know, maybe I saw some other stuff because I can't remember where I heard this, but some people just weren't sure, oh, did he let Camilla go? But I mean, how I interpreted it is Benjamin got in there. The virus is transmissible enough that Camilla's a goner already. And then, of course, the chapter ends with Threadneech's weird little plan that I can't wait to maybe get an explanation for. And I'm on the first page of this chapter and framing. I'm sorry. I try to be mature. I can't take Salkov's position here seriously. I'm sorry. Just for right up against Benjamin's buttons. Anyway, ignoring that, we get a nice front-facing shot of Benjamin's ridiculous blaster of a gun with 3 barrels, 2 of which seem to have something in them, so I don't know if they can actually fire or they serve some other purpose. But yeah, we're seeing a barrage of pellets coming out, flying into Threadneech's gut and penetrating through his back. And I'm going to leave any comment of other pellet spewing and breaking people's backs away from this page. Yeah, Salkov, sort yourself out. Chapter 417, Contingency. I like Hunter Hunter chapter titles because it feels like believably there could be 10 other chapters with that exact same name. But yeah, we see Salkov shocked that the prince he's supposed to be guarding is getting ragdolled behind him. Benjamin looks down at the bleeding Threadneech. Your words are a pox upon society. You are hereby sentenced to death. And that face that Threadneech is making has had a natural... I mean, I know he's activating his ability, but surely that shouldn't be affecting him right now. That is a terrifying face. We see Benjamin's boot, which I do wonder, are we focusing on the boot because we're getting some more usage out of that virus? And no, he seems to be squelching down on a nondescript part of Benjamin, and he coughs up more blood. Salkov is shook. This is a ruse? Since when? For how long? Sear this into your brain on your way to hell. I am the one who consigned you to oblivion. The bottom of my boot is the last thing you'll see. And we do see, I like the framing of this panel of seeing him lifting up his knee, and then the bottom of the panel is just his boot bearing down on Threadneech's comparatively tiny face as there is a crush. And I'm going to take that as a sigh of relief from Benjamin. I thought you'd have a counter ability. Looks like you were still practicing, having just learned it. Let me give you a piece of advice. Zetsu is very dangerous. It quells your guardian spirit beast as well. Do you even hear me? Is Prince Benjamin real? Or is he an illusion too? If this isn't real, what about them? Who's them? Is everyone here seeing the same thing I'm seeing? Oh, okay, just the rest of the soldiers and guards. Hey, you. Yes, sir. If you have the opportunity to provide testimony about this, say truthfully what you saw. He said the same thing as Tsarivnik? Oh, is that exactly the same phrasing? Because, I mean, if Tsarivnik saw the future, has it only been 10 seconds, though? Again, I do wonder if Tsarivnik's time has increased, just because I'm struggling to think of what could be going on here without that. Fourth Prince Tsarivnik was human scum. I was planning to kill him regardless of this succession battle. Not wrong. So this is basically vigilantism. Is it? I don't know if I've ever said that word out loud before. Vigilantism? 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 I'm not really sure how to say it. That piece of trash is absolutely not a fallen hero of the great Kakin succession battle. I executed Tsarivnik at my sole discretion. Soul, because he killed him with a boot. His numerous crimes will be laid bare at trial. I have pardons and commuted sentences ready for anyone willing to testify against him. Think it over. Is it just a coincidence? Could this actually be real? Tsarivnik really died? Was he really attacked by Benjamin? Is there a way to know for sure? And he remembers Theta and the wound on her face. Theta's injury. Only people who use Nen can see it. If that's gone, Salkov and Danjin will be handed over to the Central Justice Bureau and held there. Our military will also move there and use the seventh floor and its courtrooms as our Joint Force Command Center. Complete the preparations for taking over before I get there. Let me just read. So heading to the Justice Bureau, which we know he does eventually. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I guess is the rampage going to continue or complete preparations for taking over before I get? I mean, I guess no. Rampage isn't over because why would he be telling people to go on ahead? This is where the real battle begins, fellow princes. And he's restocking the poison. I guess, yeah, probably didn't want to accidentally shoot more into Tsarivnik. Sacrifice yourselves for the continued prosperity of the great Kakin Empire. How many princes? 2. The 5th and the 6th. So few. Where are the others? The 3rd and 7th princes escaped before the proclamation, that being Zhanglei and Luzerus. A hunter assaulted Kanchidol and assisted in the 7th prince's escape. We can use that as leverage. After taking over the Justice Bureau, open a special tribunal and slap HA with the Hunter Association with an extradition order. Demand they search and capture the 3rd and 7th princes in exchange. It seems the 3rd prince might have manipulated Koventoba with his guardian spirit beast's ability. Koventoba. Okay, presumably that's a typo. Now, I know that Togashi makes typos as well, so maybe that's what's going on here. But yeah, I'm noticing this says Koventoba and Kovendoba. Maybe they're 2 different people. I don't know. I don't really remember. I think I can picture Koventoba or Doba, because yeah, that would have been the one with the one who picked up the coin, right? No need to hold him. If he was aware of it, it was semi-coercive. It was manipulated to aid. Oh, sorry. Just got to check a text. What's going on here? Oh, okay. No need to hold him. If he was aware of it, it was semi-coercive. He was manipulated to aid Zhanglei under certain circumstances. I'll hear them out. As for room 1009, Captain Balsamilko was found unconscious, sitting in a chair. I love how tiny this guy is compared to Benjamin. He was unharmed, and once he awoke and was asked for questions, he had prepared. He proved to be himself without a doubt. What's going on? Wasn't it an ability to switch bodies? It was obvious from Vic's actions. Hulkenberg switched bodies somehow and activated his ability using Balsa's body. The captain also volunteered to be held, and he and Kovendova are refined to the mess hall. What shall we do? I will deal with these two princes first. I want to talk to them alone. Everyone, including those in the mess hall, go outside and stand by. Okay. We have someone I can't remember. Oh, let me just double check. Deal with these two princes first. Okay, so yeah, they've already been rounded up. Yeah, Tubepa and Tyson. Okay, we go in the room, and there's a guy I don't remember the name of, and Balsamilko. And yeah, there we go. At the table, there's just Tyson and Tubepa. Hello, my dear brother. How do you do? Hi. Sorry to keep you waiting. Sorry. Sorry to keep you waiting, and thank you for your cooperation. I will explain in brief about how we got here. I regret that there was a traitor in my army who stole part of a biological weapon. Oh dear, how scary. Who was it? We know who did it. It was one of my personal guards, who we believe to be connected to Camilla, though our investigation is ongoing. The weapon component isn't usable by itself, but we will do all we can to get it back, thus the martial law. Why did you even bring it on board? To deal with the dangerous creatures on the new continent. Well, as long as there's no danger of it being used, we can go back to killing each other, right? I like Tyson saying that's interesting. Dark humor. Okay, that makes sense. Playful dark humor. There has been an update on that. The hunter called Karapika has a theory that if multiple princes are still alive by the deadline, Kakin would lose the protection of its guardian spirit, and the current regime will collapse. However, we can all survive. I brought you here because I thought it would be worth a debate among us all, but I'm afraid some refuse to entertain the idea, and we see the spraying of the poison of the virus. I mean, is it as simple as that? Is it as simple as that? Are we just killing off Tubepa and Tyson like that? Well, I mean, give it 12 hours, but I mean, Tyson, I could see it. We know how her guardian spirit beast works for the most part, I believe. Maybe we don't know like its end goal, but we know that it's constantly infatuating those around her. Tubepa is an unknown. I mean, we know that for a long time I didn't know if Tubepa was a man or a woman. I believe she's a woman. Yeah, we recently but rewind. Yeah, we know Tubepa's guardian spirit beast is a transmuter with an ability that is activated when there is a collaborator. So yeah, I do wonder if Tubepa's going to get poisoned and via some means she's able to concoct an antidote. But Tyson, I mean, I think if we need to start killing characters off, I think this might be the end for Tyson. Confinement within the VVIP living quarters will continue until martial law is lifted. It is only a matter of time before we reacquire the weapon. As a formality, we will conduct a safety inspection of each of your quarters. Are they setting traps under the cover of those inspections? No, I think the trap's already been set, Tubepa. Did he need to go so far as to declare martial law just for that? There must be another intent. How much of that was true? Can we be present for those inspections? Well, of course. If you think you're worthiest to be king, oh sorry, that's Tyson. If you think you're worthiest to be king, even without the succession battle, I think you're worthiest to be king, even without the succession battle. Survival of a monarchy and prosperity. The succession battle has meaning, but even if the theory that the monarchy would collapse if a process doesn't complete is true, and there's a will to overturn the whole thing, the one closest to the throne is still you, and the monarchy would only shift into a military regime. Only once you and Camilla are gone. It's hard to tell where punctuation is when it's written over someone's hair. Only once you and Camilla are gone will this proposal be persuasive. And we see the sloosh of the black whale. Benjamin, still not cutting away from Benjamin. I see that panel on the side there. I can't wait to get to that. Area A, all clear. Area B, secured. All areas of Tier 3, secured. Prince Benjamin arriving. Prince Benjamin on deck. Your Highness, what? I still don't think we should be with you. The attacks that remain inside us are still unknowns. What about troop morale? If anything happened to you, how trivial. Focusing on analyzing enemy abilities if you have time. Focus on analyzing enemy abilities if you have time to fret over trifling risks. You risked your lives to take on these enemy attacks. It's what any soldier would have done. The same goes for me. Gyo. And they use Gyo and they look into his cursed eyes. A curse by Camilla's personal guard. The secret art of the have-nots, I hear. I'm also infected with TSK and have half a day left to live. And there's a possibility an even more powerful curse may have than the have-nots, one beyond placed on Faraikov, could be turned on me too. Isn't this exciting? Yes, sir. What do we do to the enemy? Destroy them, and death, our friend. Who are we? Kakin Royal Army Squad 1. God, this is making... You love it when something makes you patriotic for a country that doesn't exist. And I do feel like I immediately need to comment on that. Not being serious, I don't think Benjamin's a great guy. Comparatively, maybe. I mean, and also he looks capable. You know, you've got to balance how capable and how evil are they. And I think Hulkenberg's got my vote. Camilla's maybe capable and super evil. Benjamin's capable and a little bit evil. You know, I think of the options at hand, he might be my second pick after Hulkenberg. Or Tubepa. We don't know much about Tubepa. So, you know what? Hulkenberg, Tubepa, Benjamin, maybe. I'll look into who the ninth prince could be currently switched with. The feather on their hand is a giveaway, so discovery will only be a matter of time. I leave it up to you. Find him. The coin is powerful enough that holding it for 10 days makes you spontaneously confess your secrets. The number is still currently 10, but I fear there will be further effects at the next magnitude. Keep it. There won't be any changes. There aren't many places Zhang Lei could go. Herd them from the top and crush them below. Okay. I said I'd recognize his face, and maybe this is the guy who got the coin. 10 days makes you spontaneously confess your secrets. Did we see that? I don't remember that. Oh, well. Anyway, we see Onio. Sheesh, I was eating. If third Prince Zhang Lei escaped below Tier 1, I can leave it to the Squad 3 recon team. Detain the GU and Cha bosses on suspicion of treason and conspiracy to overthrow the government. Escort them to the Justice Bureau. And we see Brocco Lee, I think is literally his name. Considering Zhang Lei's path, it's clear Onior existed in this escape. That's a felony. Tell them their only valid bargaining chip is the prince's whereabouts. Zhang Lei went to Tier 2 right before the declaration via crossbridge from inside the GU boss's residence. Currently confirming the route and following his trail. A follow-up report in 15 minutes. Good. Tell the Squad 3 and 7 recon teams and the scouts to focus on capturing Zhang Lei and 7th Prince Lucerus. If multiple princes survive past the deadline, we'd be in the darkest timeline. I do wonder exactly what the Japanese for that is, because that feels like a very very English language way of saying something. We'd be in the darkest timeline. Yeah, I do wonder. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing the roars for this panel. We'd be in the darkest timeline. Does that mean it's equally bad if all of us are dead? Nay. I'm sorry, the voice I read Benjamin in just worked perfectly for that sounding like a horse. Nay. That's a scenario that leads to a legislated national emergency separate from the succession battle. Emergency Law, Article 1, sustaining the monarchy is in a crisis. If the monarch, as well as our successors eligible for the throne, are dead or face inevitable death through unavoidable attacks such as a bomb, an epidemic, riot, or natural disaster. I love reading this has made me think that for my writing, like the story I'm writing, I need to make up random laws because, I don't need to make a whole constitution for the country that my story takes place in. But if a character, like if universe's equivalent of a police officer says, like, I'm arresting you based on article blah, 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 of the blah, blah, blah act, I've got to write it in a way that it's like believable. You need to get the tone of the text and the language believable. And also it's got to be, would this be Article 1 of this law? Or would it be Article 7? Like, can you think of 6 things that would be above it in terms of priority? And I've been like looking into real life laws, like parliamentary bills, to try and get an idea of what they look like for my own writing. So it tickled me to read Benjamin quoting legislature just here. Okay, we got a very interesting looking page. Camilla has been infected with, unless I know it's Benjamin, I'm going to read it in a bit more of a relaxed voice. Camilla has been infected with TSK and will die in 13 to 19 hours. The exclamation marks tell me Benjamin, but my voice says someone else. I'm going to need to zoom in. Bell can come even during martial law. He's the Surgeon General. Call him now. Bring equipment and personnel from the Central Medical Office, of the CDC or R&D. Anybody, find out whether this is a bacteria or a virus. We see, so Camilla is freaking out a bit. Struggle all you want. You pulled the trigger first. Circumstantial evidence will all point to your terrorist attack. I eliminated Serednik, and that is a brutal panel. I feel like I've flushed a massive problem out of my bowels, and can I just say that panel looks like it. He was a parasite eating cocaine from the inside. If he fails as a human, he fails as a human being, much less king. I finally have one less weight on my shoulders and your bowels. Apparently, I infected 5th Prince Tubepa and 6th Prince Tyson with TSK. They will die shortly after Camilla. I don't have a grudge against either of them. I can even respect them, but they're not king material. I won't waste your deaths. I will protect and guide the next king, and the next, and the one after that, as a leader of an ideal nation. Rest in peace. 11th Prince Fugetsu, who is looking terrible, by the way. Her haggard appearance following 10th Prince Kacho's death cannot be faked. She was swarming with evil spirits and ghosts attracted to those who despair. Fugetsu is already as good as dead. She has suffered enough. I can at least let her die a peaceful death. The official story will be that she committed suicide by poison because she was afraid of the TSK infection. May she be born into an ordinary family in her next life. I like that comment. Benjamin, of course, has like lots of differences in opinion regarding the rest of the family. And hearing the way he puts it here, that, you know, he doesn't want her to be born into a prosperous family. He wants her to be born into an ordinary family, because at the end of the day, that's what's best. And yeah, it's just clued into me looking at the panel more that the Camilla panel is being seen through rear window. Fourth Prince Wobel, or rather, eighth Prince. Typo again. The typo could be Togashi, it could be the translator. For a second, I thought that was a very dramatic reveal, but no, I think that's a typo. Fourth Prince Wobel, or rather, eighth Prince Oito, potentially eighth Queen Oito. That would make more sense. Even if it was a last-ditch effort, I'm not impressed by this baby swap. What a thing to say. Not impressed by this baby swap. I've seen better. But I can understand how she felt to be surrounded by a family who would trade a baby's life for riches, and that her sister, a fellow mother of an infant, was the only one who supported her when she tried to defy that fate. It's a fact that it's 99% likely Wobel is ineligible, but who says I have to accept this fact as reality? It'll be a simple matter to have them both officially declared dead, in deference to their resolve and with respect for their heart-wrenching decision to exchange their beloved children. If I can prove that Wobel is elsewhere, I will let their clan off with exile. But if for real Wobel is on board, whether she's eligible or not, I will accuse them of using a cheap trick to vie for the throne and have their entire clan wiped out for real. Emergency Powers Act. If the deaths of all heirs are unavoidable and only their current king survives, the current king will immediately name the next successors in order and prepare for a contingency. So, kill them all, become king, decide what comes next, is Benjamin's plan. Okay. My eyes drifted downwards. I didn't read anything of consequence, but I noticed a certain 2 words. Before I die, I must eliminate the remaining princes or infect them with TSK. Complete annihilation. Once that future is inevitable, it triggers the act, and my father will declare my child next in line for the throne. Benjamin's guardian spirit beast ability, Gypsy Life Bohemian Rhapsody. So we're continuing with cultural references for names, and we're also continuing with JoJo references. I mean, it's not a JoJo reference, it's a Queen reference, but considering we already have gold experience in King Crimson in terms of abilities, it is funny to see Bohemian Rhapsody, which, for anyone who hasn't watched or read, JoJo is also a stand in Part 6. And a very, very strong one, too. With the power scale, which Bohemian Rhapsody is stronger. Well, actually, if Hunter x Hunter exists in the JoJo's universe, then Bohemian Rhapsody can bring Bohemian Rhapsody to life, which would just be confusing. After Benjamin's death, it fuses with his Nen and selects one of his blood relatives to become their guardian spirit beast. Once a prince fuses with an Nen beast and loses their human body, like Prince Kacho, their right of succession is lost. Fuses with his Nen, selects one. Okay. The criteria for selecting which blood relative to haunt can be determined by Benjamin ahead of time, or left to his guardian spirit beast's discretion. Forever after, the same criteria will be used every time the host dies and a new host must be chosen. According to Faraikov, my guardian spirit beast's ability is one I can use to protect the Kakin Empire for all eternity. Okay, last page. If Beyond's curse is directed at me, the surest way to undo the curse is to bounce it back. I must die first. If by chance Beyond's curse activates first, depending on its power and nature, there's a risk it may render my guardian spirit beast powerless. Curse Mother and her treacherous plot. She knew Farikov couldn't eliminate the worst case scenario, but Beyond's curse could be directed at me and used that to manipulate him. She gave him the TSK, knowing that my desire for national prosperity and selfless service to the public would lead me to declare special martial law. I think, okay, for my throat's sake, I'm going to read it normally. Through Farikov, she encouraged a murder-suicide of the other princes. She wants any one of her children to become king. When she learned of Beyond's ambitions, she shifted her focus to the brother who can be more easily manipulated. How dare she abuse Farikov's loyalty and mock me? I'm sure that seeing my actions, she's assured of her victory. Unfortunately, I will ask her to choose her own life or that of my brother. The ultimate choice. Whew. Oh my god, that was like over half an hour of straight reading, I think. Oh. Okay, there's so much to tackle here. So we still don't really know what Bohemian Rhapsody does. Maybe it brings all fictional creatures to life. Maybe it doesn't. But yeah, that is yeah, funny loophole. I'm going way too deep into this tangent now, but just briefly humor me. But if Hunter x Hunter as a manga existed in JoJo Part 6 and Bohemian Rhapsody came to life, then Weather Report would face a very awkward scenario if he's like, I'm going to create something that kills the user of Bohemian Rhapsody or whatever. I know that's not what Putback Man did, but either way, just the idea that I'm going to attack Bohemian Rhapsody and it hits the wrong guy. It's Benjamin instead. But yeah, tangent over. Back to this chapter because I feel like there's so much to go through. So, as I said, I think Tyson's done for, but Tubep is still too. There's too many outs. Tseridnik is obviously dead. It would be the twist of a lifetime if Tseridnik is somehow alive. But just based on the gravity of this, I think Camilla's dead. I don't think this surgeon's doing anything. The fact that she has to rely on a surgeon, like not a Nen ability, doesn't bode well. God, yeah. Honestly, Benjamin's turning into like my favorite character in this arc. Not that I think he's a perfect person, but I do find him immensely entertaining. And I feel like I got to enjoy him while I can. Lots of really interesting paneling this chapter. I didn't catch it at first. I only caught it when I was on the next page, but the page where it shows his boots and then cutting to him putting the TSK into the boots. I like that it's like a sequence of panels that are funneling into his shoe. And it's not funneling, but you know, it's like having a diagram and then zooming in, but you're actually zooming into the process of putting it in. I find that really creative. And then the rear window panel is also really cool. All of these took me a little bit to understand what was going on. But yeah, I think I mean, I would discuss the implications of everything that happened this chapter, but that's pretty much what Benjamin does. I think I'll keep this discussion mercifully short because Benjamin's just like, I have done this. This will result in this, and I am doing it based off my justification as cited in the Karkin Royal Code. You know, he kind of explains everything. And of course, you know, we're addressing that Unma is just being super duper treacherous. And so, yeah, she's the mother of, I think, Hulkenberg. I remember there was a scene early in the arc where she was like putting her chips in Hulkenberg. She's also Tseridnik's mother, right? I think. So I mean, Tseridnik becomes the favorite to win because I mean that's the thing. Presumably by the end of this like section of the arc, we're going to be left with Hulkenberg, who's probably not going to win just out of nature of him being a body jumping gremlin, at this point. You know, then again, we do still have a lot of players here. Like, we see Hulkenberg and Lazarus and Mariam and Zhang here. Plus, if Fugetsu recovers. Plus Tseridnik, because he's obviously not dead. And plus, potentially Tubepa. Like, we're taking some pieces off the board, but by no means all of them. So, still plenty to suss out after this. But yeah, before my voice completely gives out on me, I think it is a good time to go to One Piece. And I'm noticing on Kagurabachi and Hunter x Hunter that it says new chapter in 2 weeks. So I'm guessing